Okay, we're going to start a new topic today called changing the subject of a formula. Okay, so what does that mean? Let's just have a think about that first of all. Well, a formula is an equation with a bunch of letters, sometimes called variables. What it does is it connects a rule between different things. For example, a very famous one is E equals mc squared, where E is energy, m is mass, and c is the speed of light. Now that equation is set up to calculate energy, so that's the subject. We would call that the subject of the formula. The subject of the formula is when you've got something on its own equal to everything else in the equation. So E equals mc squared, we would say that the subject is E. If we had said that speed equals distance over time, then the subject this time would be speed, because that's on its own. And if we said that d equals speed times time, distance equals speed times time, this time the subject is distance. And then if we said time, that's equal to distance over speed, well now the subject is time. So it's what the equation or the formula is set up to calculate. So it's set up to calculate energy here, speed here, distance here, and time here. So we would say that they are the subject of the formula. Now what we're going to learn to do during this topic is to change the subject of the formula. So that, for example, if we were to say speed equals distance over time, so the subject would be speed, how would we change that so that we would arrive at t equals? And that's what we're going to look at. So I'm going to start with some easy examples to get going and explain how this is done. Okay, so let's start with a equals b plus 3. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to write in brackets the thing that we want to change the subject of the formula to. So we're going to try and change the subject of the formula to b. Right now the subject is a, so that stands alone, equal to b plus 3. Okay, now to change the subject of the formula, what we need to do is we need to get to a position where we've got b equals something on its own. Okay, now currently we've got b plus 3. So what we need to do then is to eliminate that plus 3 from that side to leave b on its own. Now the way you do that is you perform the inverse operation. Now inverse, another word for that is opposite. So that plus 3, we want to move that across, and when we move it across it becomes a minus 3. So now what we've got is minus 3 plus a, and that's equal to b. And now instead of the subject of the formula being a, it's now b. What we could do at that point, instead of writing minus 3 plus a equals b, we could just swap them and say, right, well, b equals minus 3 plus a, which is exactly the same thing, but it's just getting the b on the left-hand side. Okay, so that's a simple one to get going, but let's do some more simple ones. Okay, so example 2, let's go for t equals 4 plus v. And we want to change the subject of the formula to v. Okay, so that means we want v equals on its own, and we're going to perform the opposite operation. So that plus 4, the opposite of that then would be minus 4. Okay, so now we would have minus 4 plus t, and that would leave me with v on its own over here. So it would be minus 4 plus t equals v. And we could, as a final step, it's not necessary, but I'm going to do it. We could just swap them around and say, well, if minus 4 plus t equals v, then it follows, obviously, that v equals minus 4 plus t. Okay, let's try an example 3. X equals c minus 9. The subject is currently x, but I want to change the subject to c. Okay, so perform the opposite operation, inverse operation. So I'm going to move that minus 9 across, it will become plus 9. So that will be 9 plus x equals c. I could switch that over then. C equals 9 plus x, final answer. Let's take down example 4. Q equals p minus 13. Change the subject of the formula p. Okay, the opposite of minus 13 is plus 13. Plus 13, and I've still got my plus q is equal to p. And I could write that as p equals 13 plus q. Okay, very straightforward. Let's try an example 5. Okay, example 5, let's go for a equals 3b plus 7. Change the subject of the formula to b. Okay, so just slightly more work this time. We've got a couple of things to do. Well, the first thing that we're going to do is get rid of the plus 7, so that'll come across and become minus 7. So it'll be minus 7 plus a equals 3b. So what's that again? That's because the opposite operation of plus 7 is minus 7. I've now got 3b. Now what does that mean? That means 3 times b. So what's the opposite operation of times by 3? That would be divide by 3, so minus 7 plus a divided by 3, and that's equal to b. So then it would follow that b equals minus 7 plus a over 3. This line's optional because really it's the exact same line as this. I'm just switching sides at the end, which is not really necessary. Okay, so what about c equals 5n minus 4, change the subject of the formula to n. Well, the opposite operation to minus 4 is plus 4. So that would be 4 plus c equals 5n. 5 times n, the opposite operation of multiplying by 5 would be to divide by 5. And that will give me an answer. N equals 4 plus c over 5. Remember that this line is optional. Okay, let's try another one. Let's go for q equals 9x minus 15. We're going to change the subject of the formula to x. Okay, so the opposite of the minus 15 will be plus 15. 15 plus q equals 9x. 9 times x, the opposite of multiplying by 9 is to divide by 9. So 15 plus q divided by 9 is equal to x. Final answer. Okay, next one, let's go for g equals 4h divided by 5. Let's change that colour. G equals 4h divided by 5. Change the subject of the formula to h. Okay, so first of all, I'm going to eliminate the divide by 5. And that's going to be the opposite operation will be times by 5. So that would be 5 times g equals 4h. I could just write that as 5g equals 4h. I now need to eliminate the 4 times. So 4 times, what's the opposite of that? The opposite of that is to divide by 4. So 5g over 4 is equal to h. Final answer, I'm going to just write it with h first. Not a big deal if you don't do it. H equals 5g over 4. Okay, let's try a few more. Let's go for x equals 4y minus 9. Change the subject of the formula to y. Okay, we're going to eliminate that minus 9. I'm going to perform the inverse, the opposite operation. So that will be plus 9. 9 plus x equals 4y. 4 times y. How do I get rid of the multiply? The times, I divide. 9 plus x over 4 is equal to y. Correct answer. I'm just going to swap sides then and have the y on the left hand side. Y equals 9 plus x over 4. Okay, next one, c equals 1/3 d minus 5. Change the subject of the formula to d. Okay, the opposite of minus 5 is add 5, so that's going to be plus 5. And my plus c, 5 plus c equals 1/3 d. Okay, how are we going to deal with this 1/3? Okay, well, what does 1/3 mean? Well, that means that you are dividing by 3. So the opposite of dividing by 3 is multiplying by 3. So I'm going to get that divide by 3 1/3, divide by 3, bring it up and multiply. I'm going to multiply both things here. So how would I do that successfully? I think that would be by introducing a bracket, because that now means that 5 plus c is getting multiplied by 3, and that would be equal to d. I could then probably open this up, and that would be 15 plus 3c equals d. Final answer. I could swap that around like so. Okay, so let's just go over that again. Changing the subject of the formula to d. First move is to eliminate the minus 5, the inverse, the opposite of that is to plus 5. Okay, that's done. And then 1/3 d, 1/3 of something, that means you're dividing into 3 bits, so the opposite of dividing by 3 is to times by 3, so I'm going to multiply this side by 3. How do I do that successfully and easily? Introduce a bracket, 3 lots of 5 plus c. I just then open that up. 3 lots of 5 is 15, 3 lots of c is 3c. Final answer d equals 15 plus 3c. Okay, let's try another. Let's go for x equals d over 3. Change the subject of the formula to d. Okay, so what's happened to d just now? It's been divided by 3. The opposite of that then would be to multiply by 3. Okay, and then 3 times x, well, I can shorten that down. That's just 3x equals d. And I could write that as d equals 3 times 3x. Okay, let's try another. A equals b over 3 minus 9. Change the subject of the formula to b. Let's first of all eliminate that minus 9. The opposite of that is to plus 9. So it's 9 plus a equals b over 3. Then eliminate the divide by 3. The opposite of that is to multiply by 3. 9 plus a multiplied by 3. Quickest and easiest way to do that is to introduce a bracket. 3 bracket 9 plus a equals b. I may as well just go forward and expand that out then. That would be 27 plus 3a equals b. Final answer. Okay, and another. Y equals 1/5 z. Change the subject of the formula to z. Okay, so remember that a fifth is the same as dividing by 5, so the opposite of that is to times by 5. 5 times y equals z. Shorten that right down. 5y equals z. Final answer.